Hello my dear students, welcome to our class. My name is Jeno Maldu and the unit is Online Public Relations. Unit code is DJL2112. And we start with introduction part to know what PR is, and it is a deliberate, planned and sustained effort that aims at establishing mutual understanding between an organization and its publics. And as you can see, PR is something that is objective. We sit down and we plan because we want to, for instance, create a positive image of our organization. And so every time we engage in PR, we have to sit back and think, plan what we need to communicate with our publics, because in PR we don't communicate to the public because it's authoritative, but we communicate with our publics so that we can be able to get their feelings, their ideas, and then we are able to meet somewhere in the middle for mutual understanding. So in PR, what we engage is a two-way communication, and which we call dialogue. So what is, we need to define some terms. What is, who are the publics? These are the group of people with similar issues, similar things. They have similar interests, issues, circumstances and goals we want to achieve. And this form of persons that opinion emanates, whatever we discuss, it comes from the publics, because publics will be the consumers of what we have, our products, our services. They're the people who will keep this organization, institution intact. And public can either be internal or external. In an organization, we have internal, who are, for instance, the employees within an organization, and we have the external, who are the people outside. It can either be the government, it can be the media. It can also be the people within the community, the society around the organization, the banks, the financial institution within an organization, because at the end of the day, we need these people for our organization to be. Then we look at relations. What is relation? And you note that PR is about getting along with people, the publics. PR can't be done by an individual. Yet we have two levels of PR. Let me mention this here, because we have PR at individual level and we have PR at organizational level. So when you're looking at PR at individual level, every time you wake up in the morning, you say hi to someone. When you need something, you say, excuse me. Every time someone does something for you, you have to say thank you. That is PR at individual level. And then when it comes to PR at organizational level, this is now where we have the publics. And these publics, they're the people we engage with every day, in our everyday life. And it is about getting along with these people, getting along with the government. Remember, we need licenses. There are some policies that will come from the government. If we don't relate well with the government, then how else are we going to achieve or acquire what we need? Look at the community, the people around our institution. For instance, Mount Kenya University. We have the people who live within the surroundings, the environment. How do we relate with these people? At times we'll have issues. At times we have also issues. These are the people who will come in. And at the end of the day, the people who will carry the image of our organization, the people who will talk well of our organization, who will market our organization, are these publics. How? Based on the way we relate with them. And then each employee in an organization has to get along with others. Now, this is where we are also looking at PR at individual level, because remember, we have different personalities, different traits. There are some people who are sanguines. There are others who are, you know, the personalities. But how are we able to come together as a team and work with as along so that we can be able to bring everybody on board? How are we able to differentiate between my feelings and what I'm expected to do as for the organization, because I need to achieve a certain goal? And then we have something else I want to discuss, propaganda. In simple terms, it's a halfway truth, halfway lies. In every organization, there are some things that we'll discuss, and these things will be repeated so many times. once they are repeated, they become the symbols that transmit desired attitudes and skills. Remember, in an organization, we have an organizational culture. How do we carry this culture to the public, to the other people, the people around us? We are in competition with other institutions. For instance, we're in learning institutions. This is not the only institution. We have other universities. How do we relate with these people? The symbols, the culture of our organization. How are we able to share that with the people outside? Then note that propaganda describes political application of publicity and advertising, also on large scale, to end the selling of an idea, cause, candidate, or all of them inclusive. Every time we look at politics, if we can go into politics, every time we have a candidate we need to support, they always employ spin doctors who are going to craft messages, information that can sell them, so that by the time you're reaching to the people, to the ground, people have positive publicity. This is very important for any organization. Then we have campaigns. We need to understand what campaigns are, and it consists of concerted single-purpose publicity programs, usually on more or less elaborated scale. Remember, PR thrives through campaigns. How do we reach out to the people outside there? For instance, today we have the COVID-19 issue. How do we reach out to these people? The Ministry of Health will come in conjunction with, for instance, Mount Kenya University to come up with the ways that we can reach out to more people. And these ways is through a campaign. And campaigns are very important for an organization. For it to thrive, you can't do without a campaign. And employees coordinated publicity through a variety of media aimed at a number of targets and focused on specific objectives. So it's very simple. This campaign has objectives. An objective is the aim. What is the goal? What do you want to achieve at the end of the day? And all these goals, because we have an organizational culture, we share these based on our organizational culture, and we work towards achieving our goals, what we need to acquire at the end of the day. And these we will do using different platforms. As we know, because we've done something on introduction to PR, every time we look at PR, it incorporates different ways of communication. It can either be interpersonal, it can either be media. All those, we bring them together so that we can reach out to the people. And now this is where we coming when we talk of campaigns. A campaign will use the language the people, your target audience, can understand. So it will not only use interpersonal communication, but it will incorporate media, because media is a mass platform. And then a campaign objective may be, one, the election of a candidate. That is what we need to achieve. We need our candidate to win in a certain race. For instance, we have two people, and remember, we have only one goal. So it is one goal, that is, and we have like two people. We need to remarket our candidate so that at the end of the day, people will prefer that person. And then it can be promotion of political cause or an issue. For instance, today, we have the BBI. We want to encourage people to support BBI. How do we do it? This is our objective. We have to come up with a mechanism whereby we can be able to convince these people, and then reaching a sales goal or either raising some money. Okay, every time we do these campaigns, there is something we want to achieve at the end of the day. Either we change a certain perception, the way people think about something, or we either need to market our institution. For instance, if today we held a campaign today, it will be to make sure that we get more students joining our university. Then we can also do that to raise funds for something. It'd be fundraising, and then we invite people to come and help us out. Then the other term is lobbying. Lobbying is simply trying to influence politicians or political or public official on an issue. Let me give an example. every now and then we have issues within organization. And we need, because we said some of the publics we have, government is key. And we need someone to sit down with the government and they discuss with the government so that we can meet somewhere. Could be a certain policy within the society. People are not very comfortable with that policy. What do? We lobby, we sit down and discuss, and we agree. We give them their views, and they give us their views, and then we meet somewhere. So as a lobbyist, then what are you supposed to have? The qualities, the skills. You should be a good researcher. You should always know exactly what you need to tell the government, for instance. You should have evidence. Don't just base your argument on hearsay. So do research, be a good listener, because that is the only way then you can be able to get whatever the government is telling you, for instance. Then don't forget to be aggressive, because at times some of these policies, for you to change, you have to be aggressive, you have to support, and you have to make sure that they listen to you. And then, in essence, it means a group of people putting its points or views forward to win the other group's support. That is what I've said. We need this policy to be changed. So how do we get it? How do we get the government to change this policy? We sit down and discuss, and then we agree. Then the other thing we need to discuss is new media. And these were now online PR thrives. And it uses various internet tools to communicate with potential customers as well as the public. Internet is a mass communication platform. Today, in the 21st century, we consume internet, a lot of internet. I keep asking my students, every time you wake up in the morning, what is the first thing you do? And most of you will tell me, the first thing I do is to look for my phone. Why? Because I want to see the update. What is new? What is trending, you know? I did a message yesterday. There was something we were discussing as a group, so I need to read the comments. And that is why we keep saying, like Marshall McLuhan says, that in future, technology will define man. And that is why even PR has not been left behind, because we are a dynamic society. Everything is moving, everything is changing. We can't just afford to be static and wait for, use the old ways to communicate. So PR now has come into the online platforms. And this is what we use to communicate to our target audience, the consumers of our content, for instance, and the public at large. Some of these internet tools are blogs, online media kits, social media, and they constitute what is known as new media. So we'll be discussing those tools or platforms as we proceed. Then, new media refers to those digital media that are interactive, and incorporate two-way communication. Let's take, for instance, a very simple online platform, the Facebook. Every time you put a comment on Facebook, someone is replying whatever your idea is. This is what we call interactivity. It gives us an opportunity where I can give my views and you can also respond and give us your views. And then it is two-way. So when we say it's two-way, it is a communication that is complete, because as Osgood says, it is transactional. I start a conversation and then it comes to you, and then there's the role switching where you have to revert, and then I become the receiver and you become the sender. So that is what internet or online PR has allowed us to do. Today, our clients, we send brochures to them, and then they're able to go through the brochure. They see the product we are selling, and then they're able to discuss with us. They tell us their views, their comments, and we keep on responding to them. And then it will involve some form of computing as opposed to the old media, such as telephone, radio, and TV. So in this, much of what we use our phones, for instance, as long as you have internet connection. And we've shifted from the old media where we used to rely mostly on TV, radio with the limitation of time, space, and now we have a platform where we can do anything and post anything using the hypertext, you know. We can be able to tell our clients, our consumers, in case you need more information, click on this link, and then it takes you to where you can get detailed information. Then, what is new media today could be old media in future, because we are dynamic people. We keep moving. Everything keeps on moving. I remember when the phone started, for instance, the size was quite big. So most people used to go to places and you order for 2 glasses, one for the phone and the other one for your drink, for instance. But today, it has reduced the size. It is so small. It is so small such that at times there are small phones that you can even carry with your hand and no one will tell that you have a phone. So when we talk of what is new media today, we are looking at things like Facebook, for instance, Twitter. We have Zoom today, Google Class, all that. But in like 3 years to come, that will be something old. We'll not term it as new. It will be old media. And another example we can give is TV was new. By the time the TV came into to the context, it was so new because people are used to radio. But today, it is old media. So that is how technology works. What is new today, tomorrow will be quite old. Examples of new media, websites and blogs, streaming audio, we will be discussing them later, chat rooms, emails, social media and sharing platforms, media applications, web advertising, DVD and CD-ROM media, virtual reality environment, internet telephony, and digital cameras. We'll be discussing those as we proceed, so I just highlight them. So what are the characteristics of new media? This chart is supposed to help you understand the main characteristics of new media, which are simulated, it's digital, interactivity, hypertextual, virtual, and networked. So I will explain every characteristic as we proceed, and I start with digital. And the first thing is qualitative information has today become digitalized. This one we can agree. Everything that we do, when we talk of qualitative, it's in terms of words. So the way we express ourselves, not in terms of figures, quantitative. Qualitative is when we express in terms of words, it has become digitized. Today, we find like if someone has stress, the first thing they do is they hit on their social media platform, like Facebook. And what do? They express what they feel on the platform. Unlike some years back, where we didn't have this platform. So when you have an issue, the only thing you could do is just to look for someone and share that with someone. But today we have the platform. And then it allows for near instantaneous transmission of information with cable and satellite. This is about the real-time information. It has allowed you and I to transmit information very easily, instantly. We don't have to like wait and do a letter the way we used to write. We go to poster and then we post that and then we wait for response. No. If I have an issue today, I'll just post it on my platform and then people will start giving me suggestions and ideas. If I need to be encouraged, that is what they will do. And then it has brought the convergence of technology, different forms of information. Convergence is simply bringing together, okay? We have both text, audio, and visual into a single system. Today, if I wanted to watch music and I want to watch and I sing along, everything is incorporated. I just know where I'll go. I'll type something on YouTube, for instance, and I'll get all what I need. Then the second characteristic or trait is interactivity. Unlike the old media, if we can go back to old media, radio and television, the newspapers, there was time you could not even comment because as we've seen in other units, every time we look at media and the power of media, in the olden times, media was just one way. You communicate to, you're the active one, and the people, the consumers are very passive. So the only thing they need to do is just to sit back, they consume the content, and the content acts on them based on the way the person who framed the content wanted them to behave. For instance, it can affect their behavior, it can affect their attitudes, and it can also affect their cognitive levels, much of the insight, the knowledge they have. And today, what we have is not a one-way form of communication. It is two-way, whereby I will comment on something, I'll put a post, and then you will respond. I'll ask you a question, and instantly you will respond. So this is the interactivity, whereby every person becomes a source and a sender at the same time. The role switching now again comes in. And then new media is much more of a two-way affair. This is what I've explained. And it allows consumers and users to get more involved. So you feel you're part of that conversation. Actually, we even feel like we know each other. I know you have platforms on Facebook and you have your friends and you've never met, but you can chat even for 2, 3, 4 hours. How? Because of the interactivity characteristic, because we've really discussed with these people and we've come to know each other. Then it is hypertextual. This is where we get links, what I was explaining prior. We get links. You get this information from a certain organization and they lead you. If you need more information, click on this link, and then the link takes you to another site that has detailed information on whatever you need to, you want to understand. And then the other one, it's global networks. Remember, one of the key things that internet has done is to make the world a global village. When we look at global networks and globalization, the one thing that you should never forget, my dear student, is about the constraint in terms of time and space. It has reduced time and the space. Today, something happening in US. We feel it, we know it instantly. We don't have to wait like for 2, 3 days. Immediately there's an attack somewhere. We get to know why, because network connectivity, the connection has reduced time and space. So, and then we are able to interact more through virtual networks of people rather than locally. Like at times I find, even on the platforms that we socialize on Facebook, could be Twitter, at times in WhatsApp, you'll get people in your group, people you don't even know, but you formed a group. So these, the global networks, organizations are doing that. Look at even something like diplomats. Today we have diplomacy that is being practiced on digital platforms. Like you don't have to go to another country. We can even do Zoom today, and we have our representation for our countries, and we discuss the interests of our countries. And then it allows for collective intelligence to increase, pool our resources much more easily and draw the wider range of talent, sources, information. This depending on our needs. Remember one thing we said, that we consume media. We are active people. Human beings are active. We will see that as we proceed. And this being active, it means that we consume media to satisfy our needs, to gratify our needs. So today, do I need to do business with a certain organization? Then I will just go to that site, their website, and I will consume their content. Then, do I need to listen to music? Yes, this is what I will be able to do. Then we have the virtual works. New media presents us with very different reality from face to face, and now we are away from face to face. It has made it it has made it more friendly. We just sit with our computers and then we discuss the issues we have. So then there's simulation, with this simply like in gaming, those people who do a lot of games in the computer games, we feel like we are part of that. That is where we belong. And we feel like everything that is happening, then we are able to relate with it. And then an example is the RPG, the role-playing games. So we have different tools in online PR, the platforms that we use. And according to Phillips and Young 2008, they look at communication as an adventure, a playground where people with common interests meet. And people use laptop, mobiles, gaming machines, etc., just to make sure that they communicate. As highlighted, now we'll be looking at the different types of platforms, the blogs, the chats, etc. And blogs, to start with blogs, they are platforms that will allow the reader to make or share comments about the author or an organization. So how do you do this? You sit down, you start a blog. We'll see how to create a blog as we proceed. And then we edit online through a web browser. And then you can add to your blog videos, images, and audio files. You can also have a blog that has a wide readership, or a blog that has strictly for the organization. Because remember, we are doing online PR in an organization. Then we have chats, whereby you allow 2 or more people to share their texts, and then it is real time. So I text you and you revert, and then we continue chatting. In the 21st century, we know that chat can be in form of audio. At times we speak instead of typing, you know, and I receive on my end, it is something that I can listen to. Now, this is why we are saying it has become dynamic. It is more, what is new today will be old next time. And then we have the email, which is the way of storing and forwarding of messages. You compose a message that you want to communicate with your target audience. And B, note that emails have been one of the key center of disaster within PR organization. How? When these emails leak. So you, as a person who is doing the emails, you must make sure that you send to the right target audience so that you avoid any disaster. And then we have instant messaging. This is where we just do messages between 2 people, for instance. I can just do it direct from my phone to you, and it is real time because you will revert instantly. And then we have the new media release, just like the press release. When we go to organization and you need to communicate something to the media houses, for instance, there's a controversy. Let's say, for instance, the Ministry of Health, and you need to account for the money you've used during the COVID-19. And this is what is in the public domain, what people are saying. So what we do, we sit and come up with a press release. And now in new media, it's called the new media release, which you send to the media houses, to the bloggers, so that they can identify something newsworthy about your organization and then use it for your positive publicity. Then we have online conferencing. This is where we meet to provide need for substantial infrastructure to provide secure environment where many people can meet. Today we have Skype, Go Meeting, we have Google Meeting, we have Zoom. These are some examples of online conferencing. Then we have online surveys, which are sent to people. In these online surveys, you can put closed or open-ended questions, and comments can be available online. So you send to the people so that they can fill for you, and then later you can analyze your data and you're able to come up with what you really want to know for your organization. So today, in the 21st century, most organizations are utilizing this form of data collection because it's easier, it is faster, it's cheaper. Then we have the last thing we will look at, the ethics in online PR. And the question to ask ourselves is, who determines what is good or bad? Ethics is simply the moral obligation, a moral thing that will tell you, that will help you understand what is right and what is wrong, just or unjust, what is desirable and what is not. So based on different scholars who have looked at ethics, there's Immanuel Kant, who says it is our duty to do the right thing, regardless of the consequences. So what really determines something to be ethical is not the end result, but the means, the process. There are other people like Aristotle who comes up and says moderation is the key thing in everything that you do. Make sure you don't have in excess. Other people will come in and say it is about the pleasure it gets. So the more people are happy, the number of people, the more something can be regarded as ethical. So in online PR, we have different types of ethics that we have to adhere to in our line of duty. And one is truthfulness. We tell the truth regardless of the consequences. Confidentiality. At times we'll meet with people, they share things with us. How do we deal with that information? If I told you not to share with anyone, kindly don't. Integrity, remember, We have to deal with issues of money, issues of content again. So don't trade what you have for money or for anything else. Then independence, working as a person, as an individual without other forces outside. That is again very important. Then fairness, giving people equal chances. Avoid being biased. Impartiality, let everyone have equal time. And then respect. Always when you're dealing with people, respect is very important, because within an organization we have the publics, the internal and the external publics. So even as you treat them, regardless of their position, you need to treat them as human beings. And then accountability. Remember, we have campaigns, like we said. We have campaigns in our PR activities. How do you account for everything that you've used? For instance, the resources. You have to tell us exactly what you used and how you used it. And that brings us to the end of our lesson, my dear students. Thank you so much for watching. May God bless you.
These televised lectures supplement our robust online learning going on our MKU online platform. You can view more on our televised lectures via our online platform. We are in a digital era, and Mount Kenya University knows this. The following are the steps to follow so as to complete your online application. Download the application form from the website www.mku.ac.ke. Attach copies of your academic certificates and ID. Pay the application fees via M-Pesa pay bill number 270988. Your ID is the account number. 2,000 shillings is the charge for a postgraduate. You can also deposit in the bank accounts provided on the website. Then email all the above to apply@mku.ac.ke.